So do you ever feel like everyone else's thoughts about you is not what you think? Like they believe you're smart, they believe you're strong, they believe you're handsome, but you just don't believe it. You just don't see it. You don't understand where these thoughts are coming from. Do you ever just feel like a complete and utter imposter inside life? I want you to know that you're not alone at all. It's a very common feeling, and I still go through it till this day. And it's something that I want to talk about in today's podcast, Mental Mobility 145. Let's get over imposter syndrome, or at least do our best to kind of figure out how to and or why to and or the steps to start becoming a little bit better in this situation. So join me. I'll see you soon. Let's get to it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mental Mobility Podcast, episode number 145. And today we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. Why? I was going to talk about something completely different this week. I was setting it up with the shorts. I was setting it up with the community, but it just didn't seem important to me because right now in the present, this is what I'm going through, what I'm dealing with. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are dealing with the same exact bull spit. So before we get into that, let's get into our normal memes of the day, where we will talk about some things that I see on Instagram that really catch my eye, right? There's some things on Instagram that just kind of make sense, and some of them that just are like, all right. So first meme up is from Bipolar to Life. It says, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And then this is the journey. Boom. It's a very crooked, potholed, almost like an earthquake went through it type of road, where you always say that my journey is going to be nice and smooth. It's going to be smooth sailing. It's going to be going straight down the river. No one's journey ever looks like that. And of course, there's an exaggeration to it, but even more so, people with mental health and mental illness do have a bumpier road. I'm not saying woe is me. I'm not saying poor you. It's just the honest truth. And that's something that I was going to talk about, was called radical acceptance. Is that accepting things that are actually true, and then at the same time also accepting that things may have to change, right? It's a little bit of both in there. But accepting that it's going to be a tougher road for us. It's going to be a tougher road for people with mental illness or mental health issues, I guess you want to call it, because we have to learn to live in a different way. We have to learn to cope with different things. We're going to have different reactions and different emotions for different situations. So for you to kind of understand that is the starting point, right? To understand that this is not going to be fun. Everyone's life is, what is it, rainbows and cupcakes? I forget. It's from Rocky, some shit like that. Life is ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Sounds familiar? Okay, good. I'm sure you've heard it 1,000 times, but it's not, right? And that's just even for the normal person. Right? The person does not have any mental health issues. But imagine packing that bad boy on top of there. Well, guess what? It's not sunshine, rainbows, or unicorns now, because it's going to be tougher. With that said, if you're listening to this podcast and you're here for helping and bettering yourself, well, then you're on the right step, because at least you're recognizing and bringing up the fact that life is hard and life is going to take a lot of work and life is going to take a lot of repair. That's what I got from that meme, is that it's not only is it just a messed up road, right? But what's forging ahead? It's us stepping over cracks, watching out for ourselves, have someone else watch our backs, pave the road when we can, right? We can still make it across this. We can. It's never over, but it's just going to be tough. So finding your therapist, finding your skills, finding your things to help you cope, that's going to smooth out these cracks. That's going to smooth out the bumps where you can at least keep moving forward. So that's what I got out of that one when we're in. This one is My Anxiety Isn't That Bad starter pack. This is one of those carousels. It's a bunch of different pictures, so I'll kind of slide them as we go through. My Anxiety Isn't That Bad starter pack. So these are just, I believe, little signs that people have anxiety that you really don't know that they have anxiety, right? And I caught myself doing a lot of these. I was like, oh, I thought that was just a normal thing that I do. Oh, I thought that was just a normal thing that I do. Oh, and then no, it's actually things that people that are anxious or may live with anxiety pretty much do. Picking at your lips. I do this all the time. You hear it? I try to rip the skin off all the time. And I thought it was just like a tick, or I was just like, I need chapstick and I don't have any, right? Picking at your lips. That's one. Number two, walking very quickly. I thought I just like cardio. Me, I thought I just like cardio. No, as I think about it, it's like I want to get somewhere fast so I don't have to talk to people, so I don't have to do anything. I want to get this shit done so I cross it off my list, right? Rather than just being in the moment and enjoying the walk. I'm looking to walk pretty fast. And I thought it was because I was from New Jersey. That's kind of how I go. New notifications checked immediately. That's something I don't do. I don't have notifications, but if you do, that can be one where if your phone bings or you get a text message, you answer it immediately. Some people are like that because they don't want to miss out. Me, I don't fucking care about that. They hate me. Definitely. It's what you believe. Other people think about you. It's like, ooh, they don't like me. Ooh, no way. They can't like me. I don't like them. They don't like me. I don't like them. You find yourself having that. Sounds pretty familiar. Am I being annoying? What do other people think about me? Am I being annoying? Am I upsetting this person? I hope not upsetting this person. Is if you find yourself grabbing all those questions, asking yourself all those questions, well, maybe you are an anxious person. And this is from the Mental Health Society. So always tired. Fuck yeah. Always tired. I think it's because what your brain just doesn't stop working. And your mental calories take a lot of calories. Like when you think a lot, you get tired. You're burning calories. Your brain does a lot of work. Well, guess what? If it's in overdrive, you'll be working a lot more than you think. Leg bouncing right now. My legs are always bouncing. Always. I'm the guy that has to control themselves because you at the lunch table when you're like shaking, all of a sudden you see the whole lunch table like shaking up and down and people are looking around. Yeah, that was me as well. And the same thing, if I'm like at my desk, I kind of just rub my Achilles or my heel on the bottom of this thing right here. And it's always usually shaking. I have to catch myself. So legs bouncing. So it says that these are just little signs that you might catch that a person might have anxiety and is just quietly trying to deal with it. Right. And if you catch yourself doing it, well, maybe you're also the person that's trying to quietly heal yourself out of your anxiety. And it's okay. Right. Let's find the things that we can do to help us cope in different ways. And that's why you are here. And this is the one. Here it goes. So, fighting through mental health, the suffering you see, and then the suffering that's never talked about. And it's like an iceberg, right? They see that all the time. You only know about the tip of it, but you don't know where the base is or actually what people are dealing with. So, that in short, that means you don't know another person's story, right? They may be quiet, they may be mean, they may be funny, they may be outgoing and happy, but you never know someone's story. You never understand why they are who they are based off what they've been through or what they're dealing with. And that's like the undersurface stuff. On the surface, they could appear to be whoever the fuck they want. Right? You ever hear fake it till you make it? There's a lot of fake it. We had a podcaster said fake it till you make it helped her. Right? And fake it till you make it does help to a point. But there's going to be a point where you still got to deal with the lower level of iceberg and cold and rock hard emotions and trauma that's down there. So before you jump on someone and accusing them or perceiving them as, fucking talk to them. And if you don't want to talk to them because you don't want to get to know them, fuck it, get out of there. But if it's someone that's in your life, someone that you have to deal with, someone you have to talk to almost every day, maybe you should get to know a little bit more about the person before we start judging the person based off who you see. Because I'm sure they have a lot of stuff underneath the water that they're not bringing up the surface. Think about it yourself. Do you tell everyone everything that has happened to you in your life? Do you even know half the things that happened to you in life may be affecting or influencing who you are today? It's something to think about. But before we get into that, or after we get into that, I want to make sure we shout out our sponsors. As usual, we have Bucktown MMA. So make sure you go to bucktown.org. There's their wonderful t-shirts and hoodies up there and more up. That's a nice symbol for lovers and fighters if you can't see it. Boop. It's like a little cross-eyed smiley face with a black eye because everyone's fighting. And that's a support. Oops, I'll get this way. Support local fighters hoodie. They have t-shirts, hoodies, different colors. It's great for the winter, great for the spring. Obviously, I have 1,000 of them because I love it, because I really do like supporting the thoughts behind it. Not only are they helping not only say underprivileged, but people that just can't get into the fight world, people that don't have that opportunity based off money, based off funding and spending, or just have a hard road, right? The hard road that they have, but just to make it a little easier for them, find the right connections, Get them to a gym to train. Get them the proper equipment. Find them fights, right? They're fighting as well. And if you guys didn't know this, we always thought it was just Belleville, New Jersey, right? It was just New Jersey fighters. No, guys, it's way bigger than that now. They just sponsored 2 fighters from Chile. They just recently fought. You've seen them, but now they're going to have a branch in Chile. And on top of that, they're also going to have another branch in Mexico. So there's going to be a Bucktown, Mexico, Bucktown, Chile. We are now going international, helping and finding fighters in those regions where they're sick fighters, guys. They're sick fighters, quality people, quality fighters, men and women that just don't have the opportunity to make it to the stage, right? They could have their local fights out there, do their thing, but they're never going to be seen and live their dreams in the US. That's where everyone wants to be, right? You want to be in the US, even if it's not the US, maybe in Japan, maybe in Australia, maybe in somewhere else. But they don't have that opportunity to do so. And that's what Bucktown is doing, right? So those hoodies and shirts and hats and whatever I talk about, it's not going to a bunch of kids and or the people that run it. It's going to these people to give them opportunities out of their country to help them have a better life. These people are fighting. That's why you like to say support your local fighters, because they're fighting not only just to make it, right, and be a champion and feel good about themselves. They're fighting for their families. They're fighting for their longevity. They're fighting for more opportunity. And if you guys can go out there, just go to bucktown.org, buy anything. It's you donating. I'm sure there's going to be more stuff. They're revamping the whole website. There's going to be like a big donation page where you can support fighters and schools and whatever it is that you can do as a person that has that ability to do so where they may not. And that's why it's really important for me to talk about it. It's because I obviously like to help people as much as I can. And anyone that comes onto the podcast gets a hoodie. Any person that does a interview on our podcast and tells us their story, I send them a support local fighters or lovers and fighters hoodie or t-shirt. Usually it's a hoodie because hoodies are just doper, right? I'm a big hoodie fan. And I want to make sure that they know that I appreciate their time. They're taking their time out of their day to tell us a story that we can hopefully learn from. And I believe that they deserve that. So everyone that comes on and does a podcast with me definitely gets a hoodie and or more stuff. It all depends on what our sponsors give us. So let's talk now about imposter syndrome. So I haven't been to jujitsu in gi. If you guys don't know what gi is, it's when it looks like they're in pajamas, right? One guy from the gym says it's guys or it's fighting in pajamas. You have a big, heavy, like a karate suit, I guess, if you don't know what jujitsu is. And I haven't gone to it in a while. I've been doing no gi. No gi, it means no gi, no robe, right? More like tight spandex or t-shirt, clothing, Under Armour type stuff where, just wrestling. So there's nothing you can really grab. You're doing more wrestling than anything there. So I really like that because I really haven't done it in the past, I guess, 2 years that I've been doing it. And I really want to focus more on that this year. But with that said, I haven't been there for gi, so I haven't worn a belt in a while. And I got my blue belt pretty much exactly a year ago from today. And then I really haven't been, so I've had no stripes. Usually you'll get a stripe as you progress. Your professor will give you a stripe for showing up and doing good and really representing what their style or their method is of their school, right? They believe that you deserve a promotion. That's the word promotion. Well, then you'll get a promotion. A stripe is a promotion, as well as a different color belt is a promotion. And yesterday I got 2 stripes, right? 1, 2. And I haven't been there for gi in a while. It was weird to get that because I don't felt like I deserved it. I don't feel like I'm that good. I don't feel like I'm better than anyone inside the room. And I feel like that's me having that imposter syndrome. Whereas you can look at other peers and maybe they'll tell you that I am worthy of those 2 stripes. But to myself, it just doesn't feel good. It didn't feel right. Weird, right? Something you should be proud of, something I should feel great about. Instead, I hide. You have no idea how long it took. I didn't post like the 2 stripes. Usually someone will get their shit fucking posted right away, right? Boom, I fucking got a promotion. It's on social media already. They made a video, a thank you, a Grammy speech. I just put it out today and even wrote the word imposter syndrome activate because I didn't want anyone to think that I felt good about it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. I kind of want to defuse that feeling that they're going to give me, which is like, congratulations, great job, we're proud of you. I don't want anyone to say that to me because I'd rather them say, you're a piece of shit. What's wrong with you? Change it. I have no idea. Right. So this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm going through, but not even here, right? Not even here in this jujitsu world. I just started training again, right? At this new gym. It's been my second week. It's been fantastic. It's been great. But me, Coach Crank Pete, that owned his own gym, that did his own thing, that competed on stage, that was on Men's Health, that was on ESPN, is not good enough. Weird. I'm not a good enough trainer right now to do what it is I'm doing. Ain't that some shit? One of the trainers yesterday just met her for the first time. She was very nice. She's like, how long have you been training for? I was like, 20 years. 20 years. And I guess even at that time, I was pretty known in the industry. Was not good enough. Am not good enough. Does not feel good enough because of little things that I know I have to work on and deal with. And after I got the stripes yesterday, I went to my car and I cried, right? I cried not because I got the stripes, not because I got the promotion, but because of the fact I could not accept the applause. I could not accept the positivity that was coming my direction. So also in jiu-jitsu, they'll line up, like if you're a black belt, you're all the way over here. And then if you're a white belt, you're all the way over here. You kind of line up in ranks. And I always go here. Right? I always go to the white belt section. I just fucking like staying there. I don't know why. It's like if I could never get a belt again, I wouldn't want one. But I just had to move like more and more. And then they pushed me to go in front of them. And it was weird for me to feel. I don't know if it's because I'm not used to it. I don't know if it's because of, obviously it's from stuff from the past, right? Not being perfect enough to be perfect. But we are imposters. So what I did was I Googled it this morning and I want to make sure, like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And can what's wrong with me help other people right now? Yeah, I'm sure it can, because I'm sure there's many people like you. Let's read what it said. Imposter syndrome is like when you feel you're not as smart or capable as other people think you are, even though you're doing a good job. Sounds fucking pretty spot on. So it's like when you're playing a video game and you keep winning, but you feel like it's just luck and not because you're actually good at the game. So you don't have to say put video game, but you could say you play baseball or you do this and that. You actually just don't feel like you're right. So I go, what are things that I can do to feel better? And this is from obviously, DBT skills and all therapy skills. Is first we have to recognize our feeling. First, we have to recognize our feelings. Start by acknowledging that what you're feeling is imposter syndrome. Understand that these feelings are normal and that many people experiencing them can help you feel less isolated. So just express it. Do what I'm doing right now. It's like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? No, I know what's wrong with me. Call it out. Right? We're calling out the situation. We're making sure this is it, but then we're going to talk about it. Right? Imagine you're stuck in a hard level game. You keep it, but you're afraid of, so you're just going to talk it out with someone that you trust. Like, why don't I feel like I deserve this blue belt? And then immediately someone's going to be like, what are you talking about? You worked hard for this. And I got a message. Like I posted that post this morning and I got a message immediately from a black belt. He just turned black belt and a great friend that I've gotten here in Las Vegas. I look at him as my coach. He's still another coach to me. He's coached and he says, no, you show up, you deserve it. And it's like, now for him to say that, it felt a lot better. It was more easing to me than just like thinking I have no reason to get any of these promotions. Why am I getting it? You know? So, recognizing the feelings is a start. Number two is sharing your feelings. This is what I'm doing now, right? This podcast is me sharing. And if you don't have this opportunity to share, you can always come on board and be on the podcast. You could always call me and you can share. You could throw a video up. You don't even have to call me. You can shoot me a DM video of you talking because that will help. Right? A lot of people think we have to talk. Hey, what's going on? Make it awkward. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, sometimes you just need to make a video. I have friends that just make videos of themselves talking out their situation to me. And I have no answers. But sometimes just putting it out there and sharing your feelings is the point. So it says, talk to someone you trust about how you're feeling. This could be a family member, a friend, or a teacher or coach. Often, just talking about these feelings can make them feel less powerful. You might discover that others have felt the same way. Boom. And now most people do feel this way. And now you have something that's relatable and something you can both talk about. And now it's something that's being shared together, not by yourself anymore, right? Focus on the facts. Number three, focus on the facts. Keep track of your achievements, no matter how small they are. Write them down and look at them when you're feeling insecure. This can help you see the reality of your success and talents rather than focusing on your doubts. The easiest way for me to feel better about this is just to watch videos, right? I watch my videos from my first podcast, and then I'll watch videos from now. And I will tell you right now, there's a complete, utter, drastic change in who I am as a person, how I feel about myself, and how I stand for myself. And it's positive. And a lot of times I got to go back and do that. So even with this last thing, right? Let's go to the training one. Coach Pete's not good enough. I could give you the list. But sometimes I feel like the list is gloating. I feel like the list is showing off. Right? And I was always taught to be humble. And sometimes it's great to be humble. And a lot of times it's great to be humble, but not humble enough to where you set yourself low. And then my brother said something the other day, and we talked about it. He's like, it's because you're scared to show your light. Right? And I was like, oh, that's right. And he goes, look at your arm. Look at the tattoo on your arm. And I have a tattoo that says, I'm powerful beyond measure by Williamson. It's not our light. It's not our darkness, but our light, right? Our light is what we're scared of. Our light is what we are afraid to show. Rather, that light can help other people show how great they are. That's just a shorter version of it. If you want to read it, Marianne Williamson, fucking go read it. Go listen to it. Do you ever watch Coach Carter? Well, that's the speech you'll see inside it. But it's true. The fact is that I am good. I'm a really good coach. I'm a fucking really good coach. I'm a really good trainer. I know a lot of my stuff. I stay current. I stay educated. I may not have a certification in a long time, but not that long. Probably 3 years? But I haven't been in the field. But now since I'm back in it, I'm sure I'm going to go find a cert to go to just to remind myself and just to see what's current, see what they're doing, see if I agree with it. I love it. I love it. I love training. I love movements. I love everything about it. And it's cool to feel back in this environment or be back in this environment. But at the same time, I have to step back and make those lists that I am worthy enough to train these people. I think it's weird because I just don't know who they are, right? They're all new. You imagine trying to make friends with 1,000 new people in a week. It's pretty tough. But I know how to do it. I'm really good at it. And I know how I can help and change people for the better because I live through exactly what it is they're going through. Number 4, stop comparing yourself to others. This sounds pretty simple, right? Everyone has their own path. Everyone's here to do their own thing, and you're here to do your own thing. By you trying to compare yourself to the other person's path or ability is going to drown you, right? We can say this in a good way, and you can say this in a bad way, okay? Watch and listen here. For me, or for a lot of people, they compare themselves to what they see. That's a big social media anxiety, right? It causes people a lot of depression because they look at what other people are doing and they feel like they're not doing enough. Whereas most of the things that people are doing are fake as shit, right? I'm not saying all, but most are fucking liars, right? And we're comparing ourselves to these people and makes us feel less than. But there's also the people that will compare themselves to the people that may not be at their level, and they'll bring themselves down to that level, right? Not in a bad way, but I've been training for 20 years. And now I want to pull myself back from that 20 to make myself back to 5. Does that make sense? You understand that? Like, I'm trying to be less than of who I really am in order to fit in order to feel better, because I don't feel like I should be on top. I don't feel like anyone should ask me questions about training. I don't think anyone should ever ask me for advice on what they should do, because I don't feel like I'm there. So I'll come down. And I do that a lot. Now, if you want to do that in training as well, I do that a lot too. Like, if I feel like someone's not as strong as me, I'm going to go lighter. If I feel like that someone's not at my ability, I'm going to go lighter. And that's also good and fun, but there's a time and place for it. And I have to understand that balance and that gap. There's a lot of times I'll go lower because I don't want to, or I'll get into a position where I know I can finish, but I don't. I feel like I have to start doing that more, because what if I do compete and I'm going to get the habit of letting go of these good positions, or I'm going to start loosening up when I know I can finish it there. So, that's me learning how to balance it. But even more so, more importantly, is I have to understand that in training, like, I don't have to bring myself down. And if you're smart, and a lot of people do this in high school, smart fucking kids act dumb. You fucking smart pieces of shit. Everyone that wants to be you act dumb so you can fit in with your friends. That's not something you do. What you do is you bring them up to your level. You're there you just set a standard. You set something high. Don't you dare. Look at me. Who am I? Who am I to say that right now? Who am I to say that? I'm giving my own advice to myself right now, because I'm here and they can move to me. And hopefully I can inspire them to move to me. But instead, I want to go down, and now will catch up faster. Right? Weird how I just completely negated what it is I was saying, or what I talked about. Because I'm telling you now, like, you're a smart kid. Don't you dare get dumber for other people. You make them work to get to you. And I'm going to take my advice that I'm sending to you, and I'm going to use it. So I want to thank you, my fake person out there, for giving me a life lesson right now. It's fucking amazing. It's amazing what talking shit out does. It's amazing. That's 4. There's a lot of them here, but I'm gonna give you this one. This one is the most important one, and I just found it. But I always believe that this is the hardest one as well. Practice self-compassion. Shouldn't that be easy? Shouldn't that be like no brainer? Like, yeah, no shit. No shit, Dick. That's practice self-compassion. Should be number 1 on the list. Be nice to yourself. Even in the last podcast, I talked about how much I hate myself. Be nice to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to another friend or another person. Remember, it's okay to not be perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Because perfection is not around, right? It's in one person's eyes. It's in another person's eyes. And usually it's like a unicorn. You're never going to catch it. You're never going to find it. Sure, you may have a perfect moment, but there's no such thing as perfection. None, ever. Because no matter what you do, there's always someone doing more. No matter what you get, someone else always has more. No matter what whatever, someone or something is different. It's not a perfect world. And what we're doing here is not perfect. But what we're trying to do is just survive another day. Right? We're here to make it through day by day by day, week by week, in order to live a good life. A life worth living. And there's a lot of us here when it comes to feeling about ourselves, we don't feel like we are worth that. We don't have that self-worth. It's because of things like this last one, where we don't practice self-compassion. We beat ourselves up. We expect too much from ourselves. We expect other people to do more things. And it makes our lives a bumpier road than needed to be. So be easy on yourself, guys. Maybe make a list of things that are great about you. Maybe talk to yourself in the mirror about how great you are, as uncomfortable as that is. As weird and as uncomfortable as it is, guys, I still do it. I try. And it still makes me cringe. But I'm working. Right? And that's the hard stuff. That's the hard stuff we have to do. Sometimes we got to do stuff that does not make sense. Sometimes we have to do stuff that does not make us feel good. But it will. I always think about these exercises as stretching. Right? We're stretching our mind. We're mobilizing our mind. Why? Do you like stretching? Does anyone here like fucking stretching? Like, if you go on a run, the most you're going to do is touch your toes, right? And doing it. All right, I'm done. Yeah, one of those things. I'm going to lay down on the ground and fucking stretch like I'm waking up. No, it's the hard shit. Mobility is hard, right? Doing mobility before I squat, deadlift, bench, it's like an hour long of mobility before I could even just do the task. But it's the same thing. That's why this thing's called mental mobility, because it's tough. And we got to do the mobility stuff, the exercises, the things that we don't want to do in order to open up our mind, open up our brain. And at the end of the day, it's going to open up our lives to a longer life. Because the more we mobilize the brain, the more we move, the more we strengthen, the more we're going to start mobilizing the body and moving the body and getting the body moving. Because in conjunction, that's what it's about. That's how we heal. Movement and mobility. Mental mobility. Because that's where we're at. Sure, it's hard to do the things that we say and talk about. But at the end of the day, shit feels good. All right. So if you have any questions, comment up. Make sure you guys follow the podcast, review with a 5-star review on any platform that you see us on. And I'll see you next time. This is Pete from the Mental Mobility Podcast, episode number 145. Next week, I hope to talk about DBT and CBT again, but this kind of just made sense. So I'll talk to you soon. Share this with your friends.